Yeah. Hello, people. Sorry about that. Oh boy, had a 1 minute warning and I'm 2 minutes late. Yeah. Today's message from the Abba Rabbi is called "Acknowledging your total dependence on God." And it's based on James chapter 4, verses 13 through 16, which says, "Come now, you who say today, tomorrow, we're going to go do such and such a city, and spend a year there, and we're going to buy and sell, and we're going to make a profit." Whereas you do not know what will happen tomorrow, for what is your life? It is even a vapor that appears for a little time and then it vanishes away. Instead of you ought to say, if the Lord wills, we're going to do this or that. But now you boast in your own arrogance. All such boasting is considered evil. Oh, well, that's an interesting Torah piece. For all you law versus grace situation that tell me that the law is abolished and you don't have to keep it. What James is telling us is a Torah portion right here, and he confronts the reader with the danger of being self-conscious. Believers, we have to acknowledge our dependence on God at all times. This Torah teacher teaches us that such acknowledgement is an integral part of our covenant relationship between God and his people. In Deuteronomy 8, God warns the Israelites not to forget him once they had entered into the land and become comfortable because of his blessings. They were to remember him and acknowledge his goodness at all times, even when they became rich. So, James was partially aware of this lack of dependence that God had proven to be disastrous from Israelites more than once, and he warns his readers to avoid such mistakes. James may have hearkened or listened back at the Old Testament and looked at the book of Proverbs, where it encouraged the saints in the diaspora or the scattering. In Proverbs chapter 3, verse 1 through 6, instructs the people of God to remember his commandments and to internalize the reality of his covenant. So we're to engrave it inside our hearts. Even back there in Deuteronomy, he's telling them, put it inside your heart. It's not a table of stone. It's not the covenant word, as you like to call this thing. It is a lifestyle. It is a natural beating of the heart. We're to acknowledge him in all our way, and he'll direct our path in verse 6. The Hebrew word translate acknowledge is yada, which means to know. The writer is not encouraging some verbal recognition of God. It's a mindset. It's a thing to put in your head. And it's an intimate understanding. It's a union. It's used to describe even in marriage relationships. Further, it is used to describe even sexual intimacy within the marriage. In other words, to acknowledge God means to have a real, deep relationship between him and yourself. It's a total oneness with him, a life of complete trust and unity, inseparable in all our being and doing. As Yeshua has said, "Believe me, I am in the Father, and the Father is in me." John 14, verse 11. We are to know him in our most intimate of levels, and we're to bless us, and he blesses us with a life worth living, filled with all our health, prosperity, well-being, and freedom from harm. I was reading this scenario about Jerusalem, and they were talking, and they said, kick out all the Arabs, and we'll have peace. I've never heard such a stupid statement. Arabs won't go away. And their idea of kick out all the Jews and peace will come also. Guess what? Israel is here to stay. If your Quran tells you that Israel is to perish and be wiped away, then your Quran is wrong. And if the Christians tell you that it is not right for Jerusalem to exist and that you need a partition and we need to, you know what? You aren't reading your Bible either. Plain and simple, that land was given us for a time. But that land is ours for an eternity. It is ours in our possession alone. Until such time as the Hamashiach comes and destroys everything on this planet, it is ours. So it's something to think about, of our dependence upon God. When we're threatened at all sides, when we're tormented and torn, when people are pushing you to compromise and give up for the sake of peace. They said, we will not rest until every one of the good ones are perished. When the enemy is buffeting you and cursing you and stripping you of everything that you have, and you're in that compromised land for peace scenario, land for peace does not work. You are the sons of the Most High God. It's time for you to stand, count yourself as such, and fight back and tell him no more. We will not negotiate anymore with you. We're not going to negotiate with the world. We're not going to negotiate with united peoples. We're not going to negotiate with pagans and unbelievers. We will not negotiate with terrorists. This is our land. This is our prosperity. This is what God has given each and one of us. And then your joy will be full. Until next time, this is Rabbi Daniel from Beth Esda Ministries in Canada. Shalom.